Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, man, we got a video by a channel called Nonstop Sports, and the title is NBA Busts, Where Are They Now, man? So this video is about a week old now, and it's nice watching these videos every now and then just because, like, you get a good idea, like, where some of these busts are at, because obviously, you know, basketball did not work out, and they are looking to do other stuff with their life. And before we get into this, man, I want to tell you, like what my definition of a bust is. Pause. Basketball related, and that is going to be, you know, like, to me, okay, if you got injured, you are not a bust. I mean, injuries happen and they're horrible and they like have derailed a lot of great careers, potentially great careers. To me, that's not a bust. That's just an unfortunate circumstance. But I will say, like, to me, a bust is the player could have all the talent in the world. You know, they have the body, the physique. I guess that's the same thing. They have, you know, the skill set to get them to the NBA. But I would say that for the most part, the people that bust the most would be Dwight Howard and... No, okay, I gotta stop. Gotta stop with those type of jokes. No more jokes like that for the rest of this video, man. But no, I would say the people that bust the most are the ones that just, like, they don't have the mental aspect down, man, to, like, be great. And a lot of these guys are labeled as, like, the next great players, and just, like, everything that comes with being in the NBA and everything, besides just actually playing basketball, like, that can wear and tear on your body and your brain, right, man? So I would say that's typically what happens. It's not for lack of skill, it's for the lack of the mentality portion, man. So let's get on going on this here and see where these busts are at. Yeah, I know Darko's gonna be out here, man. Last I heard, he was farming. Maybe he might still be doing that.
High draft picks with unsuccessful NBA careers get labeled as busts.
Kwame
And these
Brown.
players are routinely ridiculed by the
Bonafide
fans
scrub.
and the media. Some busts go broke in a few years, some become farmers, and some are still holding on to their basketball dreams.
Bennett?
Here are some of the most famous draft busts in NBA history and their life stories after the NBA.
Yeah, I've seen 3 guys that are not busts in my opinion already.
Greg Oden.
Yep, not a bust in my
Another
opinion.
top pick by the Blazers, and another player whose career was ruined by knee injuries.
Yep.
Greg Oden was the best center in the NCAA in 2007.
Ohio State.
And by some margin. He was big, strong, and agile, and his game had a lot of resemblance to Shaq's.
I will say, like I feel like Greg Oden would have been decent early on in his career. But, like, even, like, right now, okay, that was 2007, and let's say he was 18. So he would be, like, in his young 30s right now. Yeah, because he's right around Kevin Durant's age, right? So I don't think his game would have aged all that well. I think he would have eventually kind of became, like, a DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, you know, how they are, like, right now in their career and stuff. I feel like he would have probably became that. I mean, he still would have been good, but more just, like, solidified, decent center in the middle. Not, you know, not putting up, like, crazy numbers. I just feel like the era for that kind of ended.
Portland had the #1 pick. They chose Oden before Kevin Durant, and they chose wrong. Instead of arguably the best scorer
Sorry, they got
ever,
Damian now.
they
It's
selected
all
a
good.
dominant NCAA center who ended up playing only 82 games for the team due to multiple debilitating knee injuries. Oden attempted a comeback with the Heat in 2014,
I remember
but
that,
he couldn't
yeah.
really move anymore. And after that, he continued his basketball journey in China, but there, he had to accept that his pro hoop days are numbered.
Well, I know he played in
Oden
China.
then fell into depression
for
and
him.
started developing alcohol and opioid addiction. However,
Ooh.
after his old college coach reached out, the former #1 pick returned to Ohio State and got his life back on track. He earned his degree from Ohio State
Hey, good for
University
that
in
man.
the sports
There you go.
industry in 2019. And later that year, he became an advisor for a Baltimore-based company that provides financial education and consulting services to amateur and professional athletes.
Good for you, Greg.
It was a logical step forward after
You could, like, see too, man, like, just, like, imagine, like, just dedicating your life to basketball and then, like, having those injuries, and not only like not only are you not in the NBA anymore, but just, like, the pain that comes with that too, once again, physically and emotionally. You can see where it'd be easy to fall into, like, an addiction or something like that, man. So I was happy he was able to get out of that, and I mean, you know, have a non-basketball successful career. Good for him on that, man. Very happy for Greg Oden.
he worked as a counselor at the NBA's rookie transition program when he talked about the ups and downs of NBA life, what it takes to be a pro, and how fickle an NBA career can be. Darko Milicic. Darko grew up poor, and he usually only had enough money to buy himself some pastry and yogurt after practice. But after he got selected 2nd overall in the famous 2003 NBA draft, there came a lot of guaranteed dollars, and Darko had quickly developed the knack for spending.
I didn't know
Cars
that.
he barely drove, a boat he crashed and only used a few times,
What?
and more parties than practices at the gym, all contributed to a burning hole in his bank account. When his accountant called and asked Darko how come he went broke, Milicic was pretty lackadaisical.
Bro, why are you spending Shaq type of money when you're playing like Kwame Brown, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, And I think this just like goes to show too, just like how unprepared NBA stars can be when it comes to like managing that type of money. I feel like, you know, because you need like an agent to go into the draft. I kind of feel like you should also need a financial advisor. Not like saying like an advisor, not a banker. I'm not saying like anybody has the right to control anybody's money, but you know, an agent gives you like advice like what to do in the NBA. I feel like every player should have that too, man. And they need that financial advisor just being like, hey, like you do you out there, but let me like give you some facts too about what could happen. I feel like that'd be very important, but that's just my opinion.
About it. Don't worry, man. The new paycheck arrives on the 15th. Even though Darko was spending a ton, he still earned $52 million over a 10-year NBA career and has managed to save some of it. After he abruptly left the NBA at the age of 28, Milicic brought 125 acres of land in his native Serbia and is now growing and selling apples for a living.
Yo, can I buy those?
He says that he enjoys spending time among the apple trees and that he's much happier in agriculture than he ever was during his basketball career. He also had a memorable yet very unspectacular kickboxing match which he lost after he broke the scale at the weigh-ins. He plays basketball for fun with some of his friends, and if he really wanted, he could still play in Europe, considering he's still only 35 years old. But between 3 kids and his fruits, Darko says he's not even slightly interested in that.
Hey, you know what, man? I mean, obviously, you know, Darko was like my first introduction to like basketball and like bust. Like the year I started watching the Pistons is when Darko got drafted. So obviously he's the first guy I ever saw drafted for my favorite team, right, man? But I've heard stories too of him like just saying like early on like the players said he was kind of a goofball and stuff and just didn't really take basketball seriously. I think Darko was a prime example of being forced into it probably when he was younger. I mean, obviously the dude had like the body for it and everything, and he was talented with it too, man. You know, maybe on a lesser scale. I don't know if you guys remember Mitch McGary. He went to University of Michigan, and I think he got drafted by OKC Thunder, played for a little bit, got kicked out of the NBA. Well, suspended from the NBA, ended up leaving it. You know, for using like marijuana or whatnot. And I think now, like, I just went on his Instagram like a few months ago, and like I saw Mitch McGary was like, he like owned like a farm and stuff, like a marijuana farm or whatever. He was doing all that. So yeah, sometimes it's just like you have the physique for it. It's just not what you want to do, man. And that's okay. We won a championship anyway, Darko. We probably would have won more with Dwayne Wade, but hey, who knows? I mean, Melo didn't win one, so yet maybe he gets one to the Trailblazers. I don't really know, man, but no hardish feelings. No hardish feelings. Hardish. No, I don't want to say forgiven quite 100%, man, but no.
How about them apples? Anthony Bennett. In 2017, Anthony Bennett lost his job as an NBA basketball.
He was drafted too high.
Every year, more than 50 players lose their place on the roster for one reason or another, mainly because they are not good enough to play in the NBA. These players are usually second-round picks that didn't pan out, but it was unprecedented that a first overall pick would draw zero interest from the entire league after just 4 years. Once Bennett realized he wasn't going to find another job in the NBA, he moved to Europe in 2016, where he actually won the EuroLeague with Bennett.
Yo, good for him, man. There you go.
They won it despite Bennett. It wasn't like he was a big part of the team, as he averaged just 1.2 points.
Hey, 1.2 points ain't nothing to joke around about. Like, what if you won a game by a point? Then that matters.
Games. After a few seasons in the G League, Bennett got a second chance in the NBA with the Rockets in 2019. It remains a mystery what Houston saw in Bennett except for one extra body in training camp. However, he was soon waived without ever suiting up for the Rockets. While his NBA career is deader than a doornail, Bennett is the owner of a clothing brand, and he still plays for the Canadian national team.
Oh, there you go.
We could see him in the upcoming Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, I like that, man. Yo, I like that a lot, bro. Like he's got like a passion, like the business side of things, you know, has his clothing brand doing that, but he still likes to hoop. You know, it's like he doesn't want to do his life, but a part of his life, so he still gets to like play in the Olympics. I'm sure that's a lot of fun. Good for him on that, man. That's cool.
Bowie. Sam Bowie would have had to find a cure for cancer for him to be remembered for something other than the fact he got drafted in front of Michael Jordan in the 1984 NBA draft. His entire basketball career has been a big what if, and he's been forever labeled as a bust.
31 like Darko,
he wasn't Michael Jordan. The truth is that Sam Bowie was actually a decent player, but he couldn't stay on the floor to prove it. An injury-prone big man had a solid 10-year NBA career, and after it ended, Bowie successfully traded NBA floors for racetracks. Horse racetracks, to be exact.
Okay.
Bowie found success in owning and training horses for harness racing, with his animals often competing in the famous Red Mile track in Lexington, Kentucky. For a while, Bowie was also a color commentator for Kentucky basketball.
Very nice.
Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown
famously got drafted by Michael Jordan, who also became his teammate with the
I ain't gonna lie, man. When Kwame played for Detroit, I actually kind of liked him. He wasn't that bad. Like, for like a backup center, he was okay. He was okay. He had some moments where I cheered for him. I ain't gonna lie. I had no problem with Kwame.
Wizards 3 months after Kwame was drafted. Jordan's famous tenacity and mental warfare didn't work well with Brown. By trying to make him stronger and tougher, Jordan only managed to get him scared and completely unconfident.
Had to be
coddled. Even though he turned into a solid NBA center after Jordan's final retirement, Kwame never developed into a player that was worth a top pick. He spent 12 years in the NBA, and we could last see him in 2017 when he played in Ice Cube's Big 3 basketball league. He's currently writing a book about his life, and it will be interesting to see what he'll say about Jordan after all these years.
That'll be interesting.
Hasheem Thabeet won the genetic...
I just read that Hasheem's trying to come back to the NBA. Yeah, I remember him mostly, man, because I think didn't he always have like a comb in his hair or something, like when he played? I could be wrong about that. I thought that was Hasheem.
Lottery for an NBA center. Standing at 7'3" and with a 7'6" wingspan, he was supposed to be the next Dikembe. The Grizzlies sure hoped so when they drafted him 2nd overall in 2009, but Thabeet turned into one of the biggest busts of this century.
I was surprised by him being a bust too. I didn't know why.
Points and 2.7 rebounds per game over 7 NBA seasons, and he never developed any tangible basketball skill. But, as they say, you can't teach height, and Thabeet will always have his size as a trump card, and that's why he's still able to play basketball professionally. Thabeet played in the G League in 2020, and this last season, he signed with the Hsinchu Lioneers of the Taiwanese Premier League. Adam Morrison. Adam Morrison is famous for 3 things. The first one is his unusual look for a basketball player with long hair and a thin mustache. Morrison always looked more like a tall musician than an athlete. The second one is his stellar junior season at Gonzaga, where he led the NCAA in scoring with 28.1 points per game and won the Oscar Robertson Trophy as the Collegiate Player of the Year. And the third thing people remember him for is his underwhelming NBA career and the status of one of the biggest...
Yeah, I remember seeing something like he didn't shower. That's what I remember him for, to be honest.
NBA busts ever. After Gonzaga, Adam was selected 3rd overall by the Charlotte Bobcats. And as a rookie, he showcased bad defense and even worse shooting efficiency. In his second season, he tore his ACL, which effectively meant his bad rookie year would likely be his best one. Before he retired from basketball, Morrison won 2 NBA titles with the Lakers, even though he barely played. Morrison earned $17 million in his career, and because he's a smart investor and a moderate spender, he is enjoying his life to the fullest.
There you go, man.
He lives just outside of Spokane and spends most of his time with his daughters and son. When he isn't with his family, he's either playing poker...
Yo, good for him on that, too. I mean, torn ACL, that's nothing to joke around about. You know, in the end of the day, it's like, who knows, man? Like, to me, that's as serious as any other injury we talked about on here, so...
Or golf. Just living life on his own terms. Bryant Reeves. Bryant Reeves was a 7-foot, 275-pound behemoth of a man, and those proportions made him 6th overall pick in the 1995 NBA draft. He was the first pick in Grizzlies franchise history who played in Vancouver at the time, and Reeves was supposed to be the franchise cornerstone and the man who will battle Shaq, Hakeem, and other great centers of that era.
Had the body for it.
But the player who everybody knew by his nickname, Big Country, never delivered on that promise. Despite a few good seasons, he was forced to retire after 6 seasons because he was overweight, which contributed to chronic back problems. Congruent to his nickname, Big Country returned to his home in Oklahoma, bought 300 acres of land, and he's been working as a farmer ever since his NBA days
There you go, man.
Over. Sean Bradley.
Going back to the
Standing
roots.
at 7'6", Sean Bradley is one of the tallest humans to ever play in the NBA. Because of his extraordinary height and length, Bradley was an elite shot blocker, which made him the 2nd pick in the 1993 NBA draft. Despite solid defensive play, Bradley wasn't supposed to go that high in the draft, as he averaged just 8 points per game in his 12-year career. After basketball, Bradley became involved with Westridge Academy.
Why are all them kids so... Are those his kids? Why the hell are they all so short, man?
In Utah, a private school for youth at risk, serving as a mentor and a coach. He was also a part of NBA's Basketball Without Borders and various other charities across the globe. Unfortunately, Bradley was recently hit by a car while he was driving his bicycle, and he was left paralyzed as a result of the crash.
Oh my God, really?
While he was driving his bicycle, and he was left paralyzed as a result of the crash.
Wow, why am I just hearing about this, man? Wow. And God bless him, man. That's horrible. Oh my God.
Joe Smith. Joe Smith was the first overall pick in the as a result of the crash. Joe
It's not Joe Smith as far as I'm concerned. Unless time travel exists.
Smith. Joe Smith was the first overall pick in the 1995 NBA draft after winning the Naismith College Player of the Year award at the University of Maryland. Even though he averaged a respectable 17 points per game,
he was a pretty solid player throughout his entire
league,
career.
It was straight downhill from there. Smith got traded seemingly every year, and by the end of his career, he played for 12 different NBA teams.
Yeah, I remember him mostly on the... Man, what? Oh, he played for Detroit? What? I don't remember that. Okay, apparently I remember him for a team he wasn't on, didn't he? I thought he played for the Pelicans at some point. Where do I remember watching him at? Oh, the Nets. The Nets seem familiar. Okay. Don't remember his ass in Detroit at a single time, man. That was before I was probably watching.
Which tied the NBA record. Because Smith bought an expensive house everywhere he played, along with the cars, jewelry, and other amenities that are the usual suspects for every deep NBA wallet, he squandered every last dollar of the $61 million he earned in his 16-year NBA career, which secured him a spot on CNBC's Back in the Game, a show hosted by former MLB star Alex Rodriguez that helps former athletes who are struggling with money issues. Smith managed to bounce back and is now working as a player development coach in Atlanta.
Okay, so this is very interesting. You know, it's just nice getting updated. And a lot of these guys, I didn't know about like what they were doing and stuff. So I really enjoyed this. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Check out the channel link in the description below. Peace out, my friends.